Welcome to the Fabulous 413. I'm Khalees Smith.
And I'm Monty Belmonte. Later in the show, we go Greek with Benson Hyde and Rebecca Reddish at Provisions in Longmeadow for the Tina Turner Memorial Wine Thunderdome.
And the Berkshires will bring the Delta downtown as Misty Blues joins us for Live Music Friday.
But first, Art for the Soul Gallery has been hosting a series of youth social justice art workshops, local artists leading short lectures and hands-on workshops to inspire and engage youth aged 13 to 18 years around social justice issues. The cost is free, supplies are provided, and it's held downtown at UMass Amherst Center on 1500 Main Street in Springfield.
This Saturday, January 27th, from 12 to 3 p.m. at Art for the Soul Visual Narratives, a social justice collage workshop with Jason Montgomery, a Chicano of indigenous Californian Mexican descent, writer, painter, community artist, and engagement artist from El Centro, California. In 2016, along with poet Alexandra Woolner and illustrator Jen Wagner, Jason founded Attack Bear Press in East Hampton, Massachusetts. Jason's work engages the cross-section of Chicano indigenous identity, cultural hybridization, post-colonial reconstruction, and political agency.
And you may remember he was the one you could text and get a poem from, and then we re-aired that conversation another time, and then Jason got a bunch more texts asking for more poems, which was great.
That was a great night, actually.
It's about to happen again.
Oh, yeah, we will give that number out again.
Please do, give it out again.
Oh, let's do it. But we are also delighted to have in the studio Rosemary Tracy Woods, who is the executive director of the Art for the Soul Gallery in Springfield. She's been managing galleries for decades and opened Art for the Soul to highlight artists from diverse cultures, backgrounds, and to make art accessible to everyone. In her role as executive director, Rosemary Tracy Woods has been able to bring many renowned artists of color to the attention of Springfield's art community. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you for that lovely introduction. I just want to set the record straight.
Okay.
That it is not a black gallery. It is a black-owned gallery.
There we go.
And we embrace everyone.
Excellent. I don't think we said it was a black gallery, but I'm glad that's good to know.
No, but so many people, it seems to have that because I'm black.
Yeah.
They think it's a black gallery.
Right.
It is not. It started under the DeVar Patrick administration when I was appointed to create art in downtown spaces. So far, I'm just at that one, but I'm praying each and every day with through the help of TDI, Mass Development, the Bar Foundation, and other organizations, that Springfield will finally catch on to the same thing that I'm going to on Monday, Charleston, where you see just streets filled with art galleries and restaurants. They talk about the creative economy. You got to let creators come in. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler, but I love art. It seems as if it's the only place I ever felt that I fit.
Let creatives come in and fund them.
Yeah.
Because if we're bringing people in and we're trying to make space for artists, don't forget that everybody's got to make a living. But you do so much art literally everywhere and have for years. How did you come to found a gallery as part of that?
It's a long story. I have a very old friend who, has since moved south. She retired. She was in the housing business. And when we met, I was working for the state of Connecticut, and she was going around like people go around with Tupperware and Avon selling art.
Wow.
What it was originals transferred onto canvas and so forth and so on. Long story short, I said, why are you doing this? You can do your own thing. And because my brother was in the music business and I had traveled, I started calling a few artists that I knew and say, what would it take for you to ship me some art and we sell it? So that's really how it started. But even going further back than that, growing up in Philadelphia, having to run across the street and hiding at the art museum, and every place I had traveled all through the United States, because I traveled with my brother who was a musician, I never saw art that represented me. I never saw Native American art or Asian art or any art. So I was saying, why? And then as I grew up and found out how racist the art world can be, I said, if I ever had a gallery, I'm going to have nothing but black art. And why black art? Because that's who I am. You know, I embrace other cultures, but, you know, my relationships are basically with artists of color in regardless. But I love all art. I love all creators. And art is not just visual art. You know, it's performance, it's even culinary. It's art. You know, some of the old crafts like quilting and has just gone printmaking, and it's just unbelievable. And the only way that we're going to bring this country around and have a harmony and bring peace is through the art. Because when you were locked up in COVID, you played music. That was art. You read. You did various things. And if my old saying is, if you just give peace a chance, it will happen.
That is Rosemary Tracy Woods, who's the executive director and founder of the Art for the Soul Gallery. And you can feel the soul coming out in the kind of art that she's bringing right here to Springfield. And she has a series that she's been putting on this past month that'll continue next month that includes youth and social justice art workshops. And we have one of those folks who's going to be leading one of those workshops tomorrow.
Yes,
Jason
tomorrow.
Montgomery. Tell us about what your workshop will entail there tomorrow.
So my workshop is based around collage because I am that is my main kind of footprint when it comes to visual art. And the idea is that finding narrative and expression through collage. And I like doing that because I do like the idea of, collage is a very accessible medium. You don't have to be able to draw a straight line with a ruler to collage. All you have to do is work a pair of scissors and have some glue. But it also is a medium in which we can find a variety of reflections out there and then, you know, bring them together in different forms. And that there's something about, you know, particularly giving youth that kind of that ability to say, you know, look and see what amongst this captures your attention, distill it down to just the part that you want, and then, you know, put it down onto a canvas and let's see what we can kind of say about ourselves. I mean, there's like almost a hip hop ness to it, you know, that idea of being able to like cut just the beat you want out or cut just the melody that you want out and to be able to put that down. And that's one of the reasons that I really love the form and being able to bring that to youth and to be able to say, let's figure out let's start from just the place of expression. Let's start from just a place of talking about ourselves and then kind of stretch that out and figure out where we position in society. And, you know, collage, bless its soul, like gives you the ability to do that because you have to be able to look for yourself in these various pieces. And if you don't see yourself there, that's an avenue for conversation. If you're looking at like the materials and like, I don't see someone who looks like me and I don't see someone who comes up like me or who was brought up like me, I don't see me in these pages. In and of itself, you can start a conversation from there. So
yeah, I had a question about the inherent equity of collage, but you basically answered it already, so now I have to build on something else.
It's a collage of questions. But that is what you'll be doing. Visual Narratives, a social justice collage workshop tomorrow at Rosemary Tracy Woods Art for the Soul Gallery right in downtown Springfield. It's from 12 to 3. It's free. Materials are provided. It's making art accessible for all. We'll take a little break right here, I think, and we'll have more with Rosemary Tracy Woods, who hinted about her brother and the music. And we'll talk maybe a little bit about that and more with Jason Montgomery, artist as well.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
You guys are great.
Like I understand.
You guys are great. Don't talk about my brother.
Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed.
Welcome back to the Fabulous 413. I'm Monty Belmonte.
I'm Khalees Smith.
And we're here with Rosemary Tracy Woods, the executive director of Art for the Soul Gallery in Springfield, and Jason Montgomery, who will be at Art for the Soul tomorrow, Saturday from 12 to 3 for Visual Narratives, a social justice collage workshop. And you were saying, Rosemary, off the air, about the real importance of art and social justice. And your story is incredible. You were awarded by the Governor Deval Patrick administration the Unsung Hero Award for this type of work. Talk about what's going on with the gallery now, the current funding to keep these conversations happening and alive in Springfield.
Well, the gallery is. I'm transitioning out because I'm very, very young.
Yes.
Time to go.
You
There we
sure
go.
are.
And I have Emily Munsell, who is my gallery assistant. She's a young white female, and everyone said, "How did you hire white?" She was most qualified. At the time, I really was having some medical issues, not because of the surgery, but because of the medication. So I needed someone in there. I wanted to hold the gallery. But I also realized that I'm not getting younger, although I hope I live a longer life. And I wanted to leave something to the community. I wanted to sort of leave a legacy, not my legacy, but a gallery where everyone felt that they could come. And all my life, I fought for equality. In my position with the governors of Massachusetts, I worked in equal opportunity. And there's no talk. I mean, Black Lives Matter seems to have died. Sure, it's not much press about police brutality, black on black crime, injustice in food, and all other things, the hip hop movement. So you have to grab the youth. They are our future. But most of the youth don't know anything about Rosa Parks or anyone. They can tell you some things. We need to have dialogue. With this economy, with this political change, there are some deep-rooted problems. And I hope that, and the youth have so much to say. I don't talk to anyone over 30 because I don't want to hear about the aches and pains. I want the vibrance. I want to be with kids that have something to say. There's so many children that come from dysfunctional homes. They need help. We've got to talk. We have to talk to each other. We got to love each other. All the hatred and the bitterness and the whole climate is just not what I want. So when I got this grant from the bar, I said...
The Bar Foundation, which does a lot of these big funding things. Yeah.
I said, and they were very kind, and I had a lot of work with the community development, the community foundation and board development and so forth. So I thought I would concentrate on that. Social justice, dealing with the youth. That's my theme. And I can't tell my other secret, but I have a great project that hopefully will come up, and it's going to be a mind blower.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, hopefully you'll tell once it's no longer a secret, you'll come back and tell us about it.
And then one of my artists, in fact, the last artist in the series is Maurice Taylor, who's a hip-hop artist.
Yep.
And then I have a Wilda Oxus who's going to be doing a rice and bean plate, which is a tradition in Latino homes. And I've had some, I think, a very good mix. I'm going to have Liz, who runs the food community gardens, come in and talk about the desert and what kids should be eating and talk about those things. I was a Pop-Tart kid, but today these kids, a lot of them, if they don't eat lunch at school, they don't have anything to eat.
Right.
And we need to bring all that out. Everybody says, we need to heal, we need to heal. You can't heal unless you know what the issue is.
Right.
And that's all I want to do. I want to create equality and love for everyone straight across the board. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, green, or what. We're all going to be buried in the same dirt. And unless you're cremated, that's it, So, and I love Jason. I love his work. I've worked with him before. I don't get around as much as I want to, but I welcome people to come to the gallery. I want to do some LGBT. I want to do some, again, another Native American. I've done some Argentine shows. I've done some Asian shows. I would love to have a big celebration for Chinese New Year.
Yeah, it's coming right up.
Yeah, so...
That is Rosemary Tracy Woods, who's the executive director of the Art for the Soul Gallery. And the Jason she mentioned is Jason Montgomery, who'll be there tomorrow from 12 to 3 for the Art for the Soul Visual Narrative Social Justice Collage Workshop.
How did you two meet, Jason?
I don't even know. No, I do know that like I had watched your work from afar and like really just been kind of in awe of like what you had built and the coalition you had built around Art for the Soul, and like the work that you were bringing in, and seeing kind of how you were really introducing community to artists who weren't necessarily even from this community. And then I think I got to be in one of your shows, and I think that's where we
The
met.
Native American?
Yeah, I believe that was where we met. And then I remember the first time I met you, I was bringing work in, and I had set it down on the floor, and you stopped me, and you were like, you need to pick that work up off the floor. Don't disrespect your work like that. You need to make sure it's set on a table. And I was like so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, no. But it was true. Like I felt so empowered walking out of there, as though like I had been treated as a real legitimate artist and my work had been treated with a level of respect that it had not been treated prior to that. And I that was when I was like, anything Rosemary wants me to do, I'm going to do it. Anything. I don't care what it is. I will be there. I will show up. Because like that kind of empowerment is so rare in this community, especially for Indigenous artists and other artists of color. You're not treated with that level. You're treated like you're lucky to be there. Like somehow or other, someone's doing you a favor, and like I can't tell you what that means to me. I really can't tell you what that means to me, and what I know it means to other artists who have worked with you. So thank you.
That's amazing.
You run your own gallery. Are there things from interacting with Rosemary that you've learned and taken into what you practice in your gallery, which is getting a new space soon?
Oh yeah. I stole everything. I stole, like, if it wasn't.
At least you admit it.
Yeah, no. We, like, my whole gig, like, we stole from Rosemary. We stole from Art from the Soul. I think the level of treating artists with respect and with and elevated and professionalism, we definitely like that. Take 100%. That like we knew as soon as we started the gallery in East Hampton that we were going to have that level, and we were going to like require that of our artists too. Come ready to hang was one of the first things you had said to me. Like, do not come in here with broken work. Do not come in here with work that's not ready. And I was like, am I ready to actually step into like a legitimate gallery space? We stole that from you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I tried to mentor others. I always tell people, I know a young man who's going to open up a gallery. And through my other RT was consultant, Billy Myers, who's Mohawk, and Jason knows, I will help you. I want to. I don't feel that it should just be Art for the Soul. I feel like every other brick and mortar should be an art gallery, and the next one should be a restaurant, and the next one should be a bar, and on, because that's how you're going to get the vitality. Springfield is, they say it's a city, but you got to go to Charleston. You have to go to Philly, New York. It's so alive, and you have to help each other. I want to help Jason. I've been up a few times, but I've been so way out. I'm working on a project with some artists down in Charlotte. I was surprised that they reached out to me. This little jazz place is going to be Paul Goodnight, James Denmark, and Najee Dorsey, prominent artists. They start at $10,000, $20,000. I can't buy a $10 piece of art. But I do own one of Jason's pieces, though.
You do own one of my pieces.
It's the least you could do.
And I think with my transitioning out, not being in the gallery full time, that I have advised my board that they need to start acquiring art. I hope to get in a place that I can buy art from artists, so that when I leave 20, 30 years from now, go on to the transition, that the gallery will have a collection. And that's what I want to do. I want to transition out January 1st, 2025.
You heard
We're
it here.
going to do a wide search for a gallery manager or an executive director. I will be changing my title to founding director and chairman of the board. I just found out I need to do that. And leaving a legacy. And I hope by then there'll be tons of art galleries and studios and music playing and dancing in the street. And that is really the vitality and the kind of culture that we need. When they took music and art out of the schools, they did a damage to America. Because now you have all these kids like Jay-Z and everyone, they have money, but they know nothing about art. They don't know there's so much money in art. And it's a breaker. It's a society breaker. And I mean, I know Springfield likes the dancing on the pole, but they better get to dancing on the street and create some other stuff. And when Britt Root came in, who is with Commonwealth Mural, she came and she saw me, and I laid down, my beliefs and my integrity, and we were able together, not me, it's Commonwealth Mural, but I was able to guide her, assist her with artists, and go beyond Springfield and look at the murals. And I mean, we're on and on. And who would ever thought I'd be doing a book signing with Ruth Carter? I knew because I followed Ruthie since she got in her Volkswagen and went to California. I was one of the few that
Two-time
Ruthie
Oscar
invited.
winner. She's been on this show twice.
Yeah.
We had her on right before she went to your gallery.
So
actually.
it's, and you have to. It's through those relationships. And I never thought, but she invited me and 8 other museum directors. I was saying, Ruth, I don't need to be up there with them people, And she said, you're coming because you have inspired me and helped me. And that's what I want. Ima, tons of artists come back and tell me, you have made such a difference in my life. And that's what I want to do. I want to make a dot between born and end. I want that little dash to mean something to people. And if I can do that, if I can save one person or encourage one person, and I'm sincere, then I think it's all worth it.
I, for one, want to live in the world that Rosemary Tracy Woods is trying to create.
Right.
And especially if that place is Springfield, Massachusetts. And you can check out what she's got going on, the Art for the Soul Gallery. And Jason Montgomery, who will be there tomorrow from 12 to 3, who is an artist that'll be presenting and hosting a collage workshop, Visual Narratives, a Social Justice Collage workshop from 12 to 3, free tomorrow. Thank you both so much for coming in.
And we'll be at UMass. We actually will be at UMass.
Oh, yeah, right. Right around the corner.
And I just want to, on the last note, what was so fulfilling, my greatest point, the first workshop we had was with Aisha Miller. Her mother's the famous Jeanette Miller. A group from the Berkshires came down. It was a group home for special need kids. And this one kid, Tony, I said, boy, you must be Italian. You know I'm from South Philly. He was just awesome. He came to me at the end of the workshop and he said, can you take a picture of me? So I said, okay, get over here by the light because you know I'm black and I need lots of light. And he says, no, I want to take it here. And he pointed at the UMass sign. I said, why UMass? They're hosting it, but come over. He said, no, because I'm special. I said, you're right, you're special. You're special in my sight in the whole world. He was the kid who had special needs. He said, because all my life, my papa has told me, you're never going to be anything. You're not going to college. He says, but now I'm here in college, and Miss Tracy, I'll be back. That broke my heart. This kid wanted his picture taken under the sign where it says UMass. So I thought having it in a college or a college setting rather than in the gallery would just bring so much hope to kids. And I have Wesley Days, who's the director at UMass, come in and talk to the kids and talk about the programs. And that's what we need. We got to encourage people. We got to help people. I don't know if there's any help for you over 30, but
I mean, we
We'll
can hope.
try.
And it's at
We'll
1500
try.
Main Street in Springfield at the UMass Downtown Center in Springfield. Rosemary Tracy Woods, Jason Montgomery will be there tomorrow from 12 to 3. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Later in the show, we're bringing Delta Blues to the Berkshires, to Springfield here for Live Music Friday with Gina Coleman and Misty Blues.
First, we drink Greek wine with Benson and Rebecca at Provisions in Longmeadow after this quick break.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM. Benson, after we tasted our 1947 wine, that bottle of wine got sent to Provisions in Northampton, and you got to taste it. What did you think?
It was awesome to taste.
Did it taste like pennies when you had it?
It definitely had some pennies going on. It was maybe a little bit long in the tooth, but I love the historical context of tasting old wine and thinking about where that wine has come from, what it's been through, all of that. So even if the flavor wasn't fully there, the enjoyment was 100% there.
Wine is as much about the experience as anything else.
Heck yeah.
We've returned to the wine Thunderdome at Provisions, Longmeadow, with Benson Hyde, who is the owner and purveyor, and Becca Reddish. Yes. And Becca, I just read it off the business card behind you. I'm not that smart, Becca. I'm just using context clues. And what are we drinking here, Benson?
Taking a trip to Greece today.
Nice. Grease is the word. Oh, not that Grease.
There's a heavy metal Bee Gees cover band. When they do the song Grease, they intro it going, the original title to this song was Lube.
We're going to drink Greek wine because you're going to have a Greek wine tasting here later this
Later
afternoon.
today, yeah, from 4 to 7.
Are you going to be able to taste these very wines?
I think so.
Sure, we'll leave some for you.
Yeah, we'll leave some.
When we think about the history of wine as a human species, Greece is a very important place. When we think about wine as wine drinkers in 2024, Greece is not necessarily the place that jumps to mind.
No, definitely not. And Greece definitely took a hit. A lot of what they were exporting was actually, I think most people would qualify it as junk. So what the masses were exposed to was not necessarily what we should think of when we think of Greek wine.
We want Dionysus wine.
Yeah, no, we want.
This is the Dionysus wine that you've pulled for us.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
I'm going to have to do a call Bacchus joke for that one later. Oh,
Bacchus?
that's Roman. Sorry.
To get back to the wine here, we are taking a couple of examples from the mainland Greece area, one from the Peloponnese, and then one from way further north into the mountains away from the coast, up in the Naousa region.
Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind.
I'm glad you're okay. Oh,
So yeah, I think we want to start with the wine on our.
On our right? Okay.
I think so.
They look very similar in color, so it's a slightly
Very
bit confusing.
On the right or the left? Wait a minute.
I'm smelling the left,
Right, my right.
and I'm now smelling the right.
Starting on the right. It's the right place to start. The right one is the Naousa, which is the grape is Zino Mavro. What does this grape make you think of when you taste it?
I mean, it's got a lot of barnyard, which I love. I think they both had it when I smelled it, but this one has like a brighter cherry, dark cherry.
Yeah.
But like this almost brandied pruny thing going on too.
Yeah, super ripe.
What do you think, Becca?
I'm still not 100%. I'm drinking the same wine as you guys.
Okay.
I'll sniff it.
Well, yeah, smell
Yeah, is it
smell
this one?
Benson's wine and then smell your wine.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay. Versus
Yeah.
this was the one that smelled really barnyardy to me.
Oh, this
Yeah,
one
I think
definitely. Wait,
They
okay.
both smell barnyardy. Well, I smelled them
But
both.
one smells
Yeah.
way more barnyardy
Yeah.
than the
Yeah,
other.
one has a little more funk in it.
Yeah, this one's got some fruit at least on the nose and definitely like.
Right. That was my first impression too. But they both stink
Yeah.
in a great way.
Yeah. In the best way possible.
Yeah. And you know what we mean, listener, when we say barnyard. It's a euphemism.
It's got nice grip at the end.
It
These
is
tannins
very
come
structured.
right.
Grabs your tongue.
Yeah.
What do we know about this grape? It's one that I'm not very familiar with.
So
Zero
it's
Mostel.
Zero
He played
Mostel.
like Tevye and Fiddler on the Roof or something. What's it called again?
Zino Mavro.
Okay, got it.
One of the things I often think of when I'm tasting Zino Mavro is Piedmont. And I think, it has some of that same terroir, but also it just has that sort of like rustic, super grippy, can be kind of light in body, similar to Nebbiolo.
And is this the one you said is more northerly?
And this one is more northerly,
Okay,
up into up towards the mountains.
It was super mild right off the bat. I kind of was almost nothing before the flavor kicked in. It was like, don't want to say it tasted like water right off the bat, but it was refreshing, and then it kind of hit with the flavoring.
Yeah, great food wine.
Yeah, I'm having burgers tonight. Maybe this is it.
Yeah.
What about Greek wine's affordability? Historically very famous, but not currently very popular.
No, and actually I think you can get a lot of bang for your buck. I think that this wine drinks well above its price point, especially if you compare it to some wines from Piedmont. You'd be spending a lot more to get the same quality.
I think also with our shop specifically, our customers come in and are excited to try new things than what they know they can get everywhere else. Part of the experience of shopping here is chatting with people and like learning about the new ones that you might not have tried elsewhere. So they might look for something that they haven't had before, like Moldovan or Georgian or something, just because Armenian wine. Because
You're Armenian.
yes,
We're gonna do an Armenian wine tasting here, maybe during Orthodox Easter season.
that would be fun.
That would be fun.
We have a lot of people coming in and asking for Armenian wines now.
Because they know you're here.
Yes. They also think I'm the owner, and I keep having to tell them I'm not.
Just go with it.
I should. How much of a share do I get?
You can deal with all the challenging things.
Never mind.
You just get to say, I am today,
Yeah.
and then you wander away.
Heavy lies the crown.
Should we dig into wine number 2?
Yeah, let's recap on the first one again. What was it called?
Zino Mavro. And it's from the Nausa region of Greece. Now we're dropping back down to the coast. This winery is called Tetramethos. The winemaker here is, when I first met him, I couldn't not figure out this guy. I mean, he looks like a hippie who just walked out of the hills. He's super soft smoking, but he makes some really incredible wines.
Did you say soft smoking?
I think probably that as well.
Okay, yeah.
Very zen.
Wine Squatch has come down from the hills to give us his latest vintage. I'm sorry, I'm making assumptions. Who wouldn't want to drink wine made by an accidental pan of fawn out in the hills?
He's out there.
So you're saying you're really fond of the Zinamavro?
Look it. Keep bringing it, everybody. I love it.
But one of the cool things about this guy is, a lot of the people in the region, they're blending the grapes, and there are a lot of grapes that I can't pronounce and can never remember. This one is Azhirtiko. That's one that I can pronounce and I do remember.
Good.
Which is a good wine to pick for today. But it's cool because he does a lot of vinifying these grapes individually, so you can get a sense for each of the individual grapes.
Is this 100% of that grape?
This is 100% Azhirtiko.
It smells like the back end of a goat.
There was a lot of barnyard in the first one, and this one takes it up 7 notches.
Yeah.
And again, I love that.
Yeah,
so
same.
we are not disparaging it when we say this smells like poop. It doesn't taste like poop.
No,
Not that I've eaten poop.
Tastes a lot better to me than it smells.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's velvety.
Yeah, it's like a very light, refreshing juice.
It's way lighter on the palate.
Oh, yeah.
There's a good fruit structure, but it's like, compared to how much it stank, you think it was going to bomb your
I
palate.
thought it was
but
going to
no.
have way more structure. This is,
It's actually kind of pretty on the palate.
Yeah.
Like the fruit really shines as opposed to the earthiness.
Right, I'm getting violets or something
Yeah,
on the
definitely
palate. It's
violets.
more like a
Yes.
flower than a fruit even, yeah.
This is the type of wine I usually drink.
All right, well, that vote's cast.
I like a light wine that's not too difficult. It doesn't, fight me.
Well, this fights you because it's confusing. It's
Yeah.
like it's weaving and bobbing in the nose, and then all of a sudden it gives you a nice stroke on the back.
Yeah. It's very sort of a light Pinot Noir-y on the palate.
Yeah.
But just like a little bit of tannins right at the end, right on the tip of your
Yeah.
tongue and like back of the teeth. That's,
I love this one.
yeah.
This might actually be a great burger wine. I find like some wines that have a little bit of juiciness to them can be awesome with burgers.
That's fun. Say the name of the grape again.
Azhirtiko.
As you like it.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players.
I have to come up with mnemonic devices to remember everything. Zero Mostel, As You Like It. I guess they're all theater-based.
Is this naturally fermented like it says on the
It
bottle?
is, yeah, that's part of his shtick. He's very minimal intervention. He really wants to express the grape and the place. And the place here is actually really cool. So in the Peloponnese, you're on the coast there, but the mountains jump right out of the water. So you very quickly can get a lot of altitude. And his vineyard sites are actually some of the highest in his region. Having been there and tried to walk through them, they are so steep. I don't know how these guys manage these vineyards, because it's like you kind of almost have to be strapped in. Yeah.
They could probably get a donkey, which is why it smells like a donkey's hiney.
You can smell the donkey in this wine.
Only a true friend would be that truly animal.
Not a bad thing. And it really does make the first one just smell like candy now.
It almost smells a little caramelly afterward.
Yeah.
I think it's still. You know what has the first one is less of a barnyard poop thing and more like a truffle. Ooh, but I still love the nose on that.
I think the funk burned off a little bit, and now the fruit is really kind of. Yeah, I like that. The truffle.
It definitely feels
Yeah.
like truffled fruits.
Yes.
Oh yeah, like have you ever had like a truffled peach with
Yeah.
like prosciutto?
Yum.
Man, now I'm hungry.
That probably would be great with this wine.
Oh, I think so. And then I go back to the second one now, the As You Like It, As Your Tico, right?
Oh man.
And I'm getting like, do you ever have those cap guns when you were a kid?
Oh,
And they make those loud
yeah,
cracks,
yeah.
so there's like a
Gunfire.
gunpowder thing happening.
kind of thing.
Ooh, that's fun. This is really fun.
Yeah.
This is going to be a hard decision.
Yeah, the funk is turning a little bit more, at least as the more I sniff it, into that sort of like graphite-y cap gun.
Like fireworksy sort of thing.
Yeah.
You look like the 4th of July.
All right.
All right.
It's decision time. Benson Hyde, owner of Provisions. Becca Reddish, fake owner of Provisions. To the Armenian community of the greater Springfield area.
I like that. Can we put that on our business cards? Fake owner of provisions.
We'll change it to Trojan owner. Like,
Oh, I love that. Gonna write it on there?
I absolutely will.
Oh, nice.
I'll put it in the middle of the pack, and whoever gets it
You
will
will
win
like
a
that.
prize.
My new NEPM business card is gonna say co-host and full-time dreamer. And yours was gonna say,
I really wanted my business card to say, quite possibly your only black friend. But it was actually a racial divide between the people who said, you should definitely do this, and the people who shouldn't. But I balked too long on it, so it's not gonna.
So now I was thinking to say.
It's just gonna say co-host and producer. I know, it's
Boring.
way, I know, I think so too. I'm gonna have to write it down on all of my business cards also.
Just write it in.
all right, 2 Greeks enter, 1 Greek leaves in this wine Thunderdome. Feels very Acropolis-y here. Is that Rome?
No,
No, Acropolis is Greek.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Colosseum's Rome, right. Way of the Dragon. Back up.
I know what my choice is. I know that I said that the second one, the barnyardy one, was more a wine that I would typically drink. But I actually, after trying them both side by side a couple times, going back to the Zino Mavro. Because the smell really puts me off on the second one.
Can't get beyond the donkey.
You know what else everybody like? Parfaits.
It's like, I don't know what causes that smell. Like, is it yeast?
Oftentimes yeast,
Yeah,
yeah,
'cause I'm
fermentation
And
character.
especially with the
Feeling it.
natural yeast,
You
it's
can,
gonna
you
get
can also
wild.
get reduction, and especially with more naturally made minimal intervention wines, you can also have a little bit more reduction, which can blow off, oftentimes will blow off as it opens up and breathes. So it might, if we revisit this later this afternoon, if you want to come in for the free tasting,
Yeah.
it could be a completely different beast.
Well,
It could be a mule instead of a
Yeah,
donkey.
exactly.
well then for
More
now,
goaty
I'm
than-
saying the Zino Mavro, but maybe later today, I'll say the Azortico.
But for now, the Zino Mavro. I'm on the other end. I like how it really does smell like the wrong end of sheep, but I am a sucker for texture with wine, and the way that just softens on the palate is wonderful, and I always love flowers. It's got all the things that I tend to like in a way that was unexpected, so...
Strongly agree. I love the
Yeah?
stank animal and the violet touch. So it's 2
They're
versus
both
1.
great, though.
What do you got, Benson?
I'm going to have to cause some problems here and say I think I like the Zino Mavro a little bit more. It's a little more serious to me. I think that structure, the tannin, and the little bit more acidity.
So firmly at the end.
Yeah, it
really
really
does.
stands up firmly.
Yeah, I agree. The Azortico was really joking around.
It's like a prankster. Am I a goat or am I a grape?
Smell? Or
It's made by a pan. I mean, we've already discussed.
Oh yeah,
That's
keeping
true.
it real Greek.
Yeah, but I think I'm going to have to go with the Zino Mavro.
2 and 2.
We'll call it a draw.
2.
We don't even have a tiebreaker. Where's Bruce?
Our first actual draw. They're both good.
Yeah, we could.
You'll have to come to Provisions and
try
figure it
for
out for
yourself.
yourself.
Let us know what you think, and maybe you'll push it over the edge one way or the other.
And
Yeah.
quick reminder that the tasting that's happening this afternoon is just one of their many that happen on Friday afternoons. You can always come and taste between 4 and 7.
And it's free.
It would be Dionysus to come in Bacchus anytime and taste wines here, not just the Greek ones at Provisions. Told you there would be a call Bacchus
Yes.
to that joke.
Up next, Live Music Friday with the Berkshires Misty Blues playing the Drake and Amherst next week.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Northeast Solar, offering solar options, energy security, and solutions for the local community. Learn more at northeast-solar.com.
Welcome back to the Fabulous 413. I'm Monty Belmonte.
And I'm Khalees Smith. It's Live Music Friday, and joining us is Misty Blues, led by lead singer, brand founder Gina Coleman. The band is based out of the northern Berkshire County, playing original and traditional blues with hints of jazz, soul, funk, and tent revival gospel since 1999. In 2019, Misty Blues were International Blues Challenge finalists.
Misty Blues plays the Drake in Amherst Saturday, February 3rd, presenting their tribute Queens of the Blues, featuring the works of Ruth Brown, Coco Taylor, Big Mama Thornton, and more. Joining Gina Coleman is Cam Benchavenga. Did I get it?
That's my name.
Woo! On guitar. And Diego Mung, who is on bass and also happens to be Gina's son. It's kind of awesome and cute. Let's hear a song and then we'll chat a little bit.
Round and round where we go, where we stop, no one knows. It's all good and it's all tight. The swinging blues just feel so right. Up and down, take a ride, holding firm against the tide. Waves are rushing, will they last? The swinging blues go by so fast. Hey! Ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da, 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 dwee-now, ba-da-da-da-da-da, dwee-now, ba-da-da-da-da-da, yeah, ba-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Side to side we thrash around, slide around the whole dark ground. Move so slide we float on air, the swinging blues without a care. Push and pull we make a sway, trading lines and notes for play. It leaves you always wanting more, the swinging blues down to the core. Oh, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Hey, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah.
Misty Blues with Gina Coleman and Diego Mung on bass and Cam Benchavenga on guitar. That was excellent. Fun stuff.
Thank you.
You, Gina, we had on the founders of the Black Legacy Project on last week or so, and you were a part of that project.
Yes, we were the first city that they went to. They started out in the Berkshires. Diego and I were both involved. We were co-musical directors in the Berkshires. Yeah.
Were you part of the performance last weekend too, or?
Well, we unfortunately were in Memphis.
Unfortunately, I hear it's not much of a blues city, Gina.
Oh darn! But not being a part of the performance, yes. But you're on the album, yes, singing for sure. What was it like to bring influence into that project and see it form? It was pretty exciting, especially I don't know if you've had the chance to watch the documentary, and that was really moving to see it
You know, I'm like, oh, I was there, but now I'm watching it. I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, this is so much more powerful than I was.
Yeah.
Because when you're in it, you know, you don't have the same kind of perspective. But it was amazing working with all those incredible musicians and looking at some of those traditional songs in a different way. I mean, when we were given Lift Every Voice and Sing to reinvent, and
No pressure.
I know.
Black
I'm
national
like,
anthem and
I
all.
know, exactly. I'm like, this kind of feels sacrilegious. We should not be touching this song. There's something really wrong with this.
And yeah, what you did with it was super cool.
is
Like,
cool,
I especially love like the gospel revival
Yeah.
sounds at the very end.
Yeah.
Like that was a really inspired
That's all
touch
Diego.
to
That was
bring
all
in.
Diego.
Nice.
That'll be a good shout gospel.
Good choices. Good choices. I think my first interaction with Misty Blues as a band and with you was at our former home, where we brought you in to talk about some of the people who will be on this program.
Yes.
For Black History Month. They have a sort of interstitial thing about Black people in music. So of the folks that are going to be on this program, who is the one that you hope people go home and listen to the most?
A blues legend.
Wow. I mean, I have a hard time thinking that
I know, it's hard to
everyone
pick
doesn't
favorites.
listen to these women. I'm like, what do you mean? Discover, you know? I'm like,
We Columbused Ruth Brown.
I know.
Oh, that's dark.
That's funny. But I mean, I think like Ruth Brown is, I get a lot of flack for adding Ruth Brown. I also, whenever we put out a show, someone says, well, why don't you do this person? I'm like, because they're my queens. I'm like, I mean, we could totally make this a 12-hour show. I don't. We should.
One of
We
these
should
days,
do a
though.
marathon.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I think
Yeah.
we could do that.
Now we have goals for next.
Yeah,
Black
okay,
History
there we
Month.
go.
Well, let's say our farewells, and then we'll have Misty Blues play us out.
I think that's a good idea.
We'll tell you that next week on the Fabulous 413, we are getting on the ice because it's hockey season.
We're hanging out with the only women's high school hockey team in the Valley at Longmeadow High.
And we're checking out animations that's starting to outgrow its Berkshire home with Zul Manzi.
Plus, Ilana Steinhauer of Volunteers in Medicine breaks down her organization's mission as they open a new branch in Pittsfield next week.
And for Live Music Friday, playing at the Drake in Amherst a week from tomorrow, Saturday, February 3rd, let's hear one more from Misty Blues. Thank you all so much.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's a joy.
Been dealt a hand that don't seem fair. If I done some wrong, Lord, I'm aware. I don't sleep. I don't sleep. I got things to do. Take one step forward, get pushed two back. That's my last story on that beaten track. I don't sleep. I don't sleep. I got things to do. Got mouths to feed and bills to pay. Wish there were more hours in my working day. And I don't sleep. I don't sleep. I got things to do. When my numbers call, hey, I'll get my rest. But till I find out, Lord, how I've transgressed, I don't sleep. I don't sleep. I got things to do. I don't sleep. I don't sleep. I got things to do. I don't sleep. Can't get no peace. I got things to do.
That was awesome.